Hello everyone. In the previous video, I already demoed the system that run on Kubernetes single node. On this video, I will demo the Kubernetes on multiple nodes. So this is my agenda. Set up Kubernetes on Ubuntu and a system that had three nodes. Master node is a virtual box, 2 CPU and 2 GB RAM, and slave virtual box is 2 CPU and 4 GB RAM, and an AZ laptop for CPU and 8 GB RAM. This is my laptop. We have Ubuntu run there, and I will deploy the previous system that includes Kafka, MongoDB, web service, processors, and state unit. And I will demo the Kubernetes scheduling with you for scheduling by selector and affinity. Okay, let's start. To deploy a system on Ubuntu, I follow this article. You can easily search it by Google. It's straightforward. And I have a system running here. But there's a note that this step, the swap off is auto enabled when you do restart, so the Kubernetes will not work. You have to disable it by configuration. For example, the edit config. Yes, we edit this file. You can search it by Google. I just click here and comment out this line. So the swap is off when Ubuntu restart, and the Kubernetes will work. Also, the Kubernetes control by default work with localhost. So if you want to work with remote system, you need to add a new context here. For example, I add the Ubuntu Kubernetes, and with the setting client certificate data from host. From the config file. Yes, this certificate data, client key. So Kubernetes control will work remote system, and you can see here we have multiple nodes: master, slave node, VirtualBox. So to deploy on this cluster, simply apply file like previous demo. The video I already showed that deploy on single node Docker desktop with Kubernetes enabled. It works the same. For example, I will apply this one. Yes, we have port deploy here. Yes, Kafka, MongoDB, processor. Okay, so now we will discuss about Kubernetes scheduling. Scheduling means that it assigns port. It's much more complex, but we can simple understand it that it assigns a port to node, and by default is scheduling. If we filter node, we check if the node match some criteria, and here there's many filter. You can check it on Kubernetes side and score it. So score it, choose the top node and assign the port to dot. So by default, uh, I just by default you see uh, many service deploy in the slave node here. Why? Because by default we have the slave is for CPU and 8 RAM, 8 GB RAM. So this is a high score. So by default we select and many service deploy here. And if we scale it, this to scale. Oh, I'm sorry, scale. We scale the 20 pixels to we set processor will spread out to node. Yes, this processor and this processor to reduce the risk of failure. We have processor will deploy in multiple nodes and try to scale back one. Let's see, only one in the higher score. Slave node is for CPU and 8 GB RAM. This virtual only 2 CPU. To show this. So that's the default setting, default scheduling. There's no specs right here. So now we try the assign by selector. What is selector? In the selector, yes, you deploy service on the nodes though where they'll have the tasking hosting service. I only task this node. For example, I will show you this one is stuck at storage, and this one is stuck at hosting, at service, hosting service. So let's refresh. You see, on service moved here. Why? Because we select the node as the hosting service. Now we try to scale up. It's also how to slave node. Yes, to because we force the hosting selector, so it's not go to storage. It only choosing the nodes have hosting tagged. Okay, let's try to scale back. The drawback of node selector is that it's forced, so it not utilize the whole system resource. For example, in this cluster we have two working nodes, slave node and virtual slave. It only uses slave virtual. It's not backup each other. Another way is to assign node is aff- affinity. Affinity, you can understand that it's a kind of key priority. There's many affinity policies. For example, uh, affinity, anti-affinity, node affinity, node port affinity that you can learn detail in the document site. In this demo, I only show you the node affinity. My share in this scenario, in my case, I want uh, service the high priority to virtual box slave and storage on the uh, slave node. So I define, so I apply this one and refresh. Okay, we have now service on slave, virtual slave, and order on storage. What is setting on to have that? We have I define node affinity, so it will give priority to those have hosting. So now try to scale scale this one. Scale this one. Okay. It just gives a higher priority to the slave, but when it scale out, it go to other node to reduce risk of failure. And now I try to completely drop this node. Completely drop this node. Oh, let's back to selector. Oh no need. Oh now with selector, if we drop the virtual box slave, the service not move to other node. Selector because it's forced. Only they'll have tag will host. But with affinity, if we drop this one, other service move to slave node. Let's try delete. You see, service move back. Okay. Okay. Now we try to add back. To add the node, you need to generate to add node back in this article. It will show you the command that yes, it's a command to add, but the token this token will expire. You would need to generate order. So I will show you how to generate. Yes, you need to gen this one now. And run on the other node. On the now system is that two node because I already removed the virtual bulk node. Now I add it back. It's quite slow. Okay. It's take a little time. Then you add it and we tag it. It will assign a node to assign to port to new node. Okay, it's up, and you see that yes, the setup is ready. Now it's the hosting tag. We don't have the hosting tag yet. We don't have the hosting tag yet. So the service is not moved here. Still not. Still not moved. Now we try to tag in. Let's try scale. One and refresh. You see, surface still in the slave mode. Now we starting hosting. Yes, we tag it, label it. You see that. Yes, it's to tag with hosting, and let's try. It's not moved to new node because in the spec we ignore running. We ignore during running, so we add new resource. It's still there, but now we try to scale and rescale. Scale to per example, and see that is this spread to multiple node. You see multiple processor, and now scale back to 1. Okay, it will give the higher priority to virtual nodes to VirtualBox Layer because VirtualBox Layer were laid for hosting service. Hmm. Ah, sorry. This one still running, just it's not moving. It's just zero and scale by 1. Okay, let's move to uh, virtual slaver is because I thought in the hosting and it this node more high variety. Let's try this one to slaver scale scale 0 and scale back to 1. Let's move to yes, it moved to this one. So I already demoed the Kubernetes on multiple nodes. Kubernetes scheduling, default scheduling by selector affinity. Hope it gives you some information. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.